My name is Kenneth Bird. My new company is BlackSeriesEdition.com. Our other company is Crystal Age Technology Screens. How was that Crystal Age Technology Screens? Got two names, however, okay. Anyway, I do love when from time to time, we get people that will say that I don't know what I'm talking about. I have been making screen paint for an extremely long time. I have quite a lot of experience in the field. I have built multiple different forms of custom fixed frame screens. I've had screens in all different forms of lighting. I've done so many different versions of outdoor screens, it's not even funny. My company first started with Digital One Crystal Screen Paint. I was here before the majority of the people that are now making screen paints now. I've been here long before you guys have ever even been here. I've been on so many different forum sites and flown to so many different places to make product, to basically display product. It's not even funny. These under Digital One Crystal Screen Paint are videos that go back 9 years, 10 years, or somewhere like 12 years of me actually working with a gray screen paint product way before other people have ever even seen or even had it. And when I sit there and make statements by saying that I was making your product way before you ever existed on YouTube, I've got the archives to back it up. I had over 7,000 video demonstrations on just about everything you could possibly think of. I developed invisible technology long before anyone else had it. I had everything dated, stamped right here in my archives. I had a customer yesterday and said, gee whiz, I went back to your old videos when you started off in a small little room and how far you go back. We had nanotechnology and development in screens, motorized. We were the first ones to paint motorized projection screens. Lights that you see people displaying in front of screens. I have videos that date back when we were doing it first with a 1,000-watt neon bar light in the middle and center of the screen. This is Digital One Crystal Screen Paint. There's me painting a gray screen in, and that is 9 years ago. When I tell you and I explain to you that products that you have, those great products are old, they're old. They've been around since ABS forms in Mississippi Man. Those of you who know Mississippi Man, those who don't clearly show that. If you have to look them up, then you don't know them. Mississippi Man is a bit of a big influence in ABS forums, and he talked a lot about gray screen paint products at that particular time when glue screen was all the rage, before black diamond ever existed, before gunmetal ever existed. There was gray paints. And as I said before, the rules in that category with gray paints was simple. People were trying to do the same thing as glue screen, or they were trying to do the opposite of glue screen, as in spend a 5-coat application to apply to a surface. You couldn't apply it to a surface if the walls were colored. Everything had to be primed, everything had to be sanded down, everything had to be perfect flat, everything had to be smooth. It took about 4 to 5 hours to paint a screen in. It was like I said, a 5-coat application, and everybody wanted to be along those lines. A lot of people, this is the environment you're seeing right now, that one light in the corner, that was it back then. This is how it was. That's my old product from back in the day, Digital One, when I first started off. And to have one light in a room was considered to be impressive, because then all video demonstrations were done in completely dark environments. Very rare you'll see a video with a light in a corner. This is why we see videos like this today. This is how we know what your stuff is made out of, because the products they made back then were nothing more than just black and white paint. Everything was black and white paint, pretty much. And any videos that reacted this way that we see now, we know what's in it, because that's how that product would react. So I've gone back and I've checked how far some of you go back. You don't go back that far. You don't even have enough video demonstrations to even show you even go back that far. Some of you even just started and think you know stuff, but you don't know anything. This is why when they say things on camera, it's funny because they don't know what they're talking about. You can't talk about something that you haven't been there and you haven't experienced it. So when I was doing some videos, there were a few people came in there ranting about black technology, this, that, and the other. I was making your product long before you ever even knew I even existed. See that product that's being painted on that wall? That is a light gray screen paint. And that product sold so well that it got me a contract overseas where my screen is paint is actually on display overseas and big showrooms and all that stuff. And came down, got myself a 10-year contract. And this is on great products. So we're way beyond that now because, things that change events, like seeing technology that's far better than yours. Oh yeah, you go in and change and do something better. Like the Black Diamond surface, the history on us and Black Diamond is that when we saw their technology, all this changed for us. So this is the reason why your products have those reactions, and the reason why is because our products had the same reactions back then, but back then it was considered to be a pass. Today, that's not considered to be a pass. The stuff we have here is not even ambient light rejection technology, because ambient light rejection technology didn't even exist back then. It was called gain. Everything was by gain, 2.0 gain, 1.0 gain, 3.0 gain. That's what it was. There was no such thing as ambient light rejection didn't exist. 4K projectors weren't even out either. At that particular time, if you had a 1080p 3000 lux projector, you were doing extremely good. Look at the size of the rollers I'm using in the demonstrations. Everything was copied. Pretty much all our work is copied. You know that from the door. I can go back and show you videos that will pretty much duplicate and match the same stuff that they're doing now. The thing about it is you guys have no history. You have no throwbacks. Our Digital One product line is a throwback. You don't have throwbacks. Y'all have the same paint that we were making 9 to 10 years ago. This is why it doesn't pull contrast. This is why I can't see color. This is why I can only maintain white levels. I made gray screen paint products in just about every single combination you could possibly think of. So I know how it's all made. So like I said, we had a few people came in the room one time and ranting about, oh, all you have to do is make black products. Again, crack a book before you talk to me, because again, at the end of the day, you'd be surprised how much Mr. Bird knows at the end of the day. When I say that the product you have sitting on your wall right now that you paid all that money for, yeah, that product is old. We made that years ago. Same test demonstrations, drywall, different materials, because at that particular time, like I said, the reason why those demonstrations came into play because of goose grain. And because goose grain, you had to paint it on a certain surface. You couldn't do, well, you could do goose grain on the wall. Yeah, you could do goose grain on the wall. You couldn't do it, you had to do it on a wall and wall only. It couldn't be like styrofoam. It couldn't be cardboard. It couldn't be fixed frame screens or motorized screens. It was restricted to a wall and a wall only. This is why if you look at how my videos were titled back then, it was 1 hour or less. You can use it in a lit environment. No multi-coat application, no sanding, no priming. You can paint it on this, you can paint it on that. Because that's what it was then. It wasn't about white levels. You guys are way off. You missed the entire point of what it's all about. It's never about white levels. It was about contrast and color. Because keep in mind, a gray screen is going to pull a white level regardless. A certain high white level is going to be to pull it. The problem is, at that particular time, you were going against goose grain and you were going against the white screen. The white screen, because a white screen can produce a high white level, but it can't see contrast and color. And that's a lot of problems people were having back then. They were getting, the only thing they had out there was a white screen. Before goose screen came out, before people heard too much about goose screen, it was just the white screen. And it just got to a point that a lot of YouTubers didn't want to spend the money that goose screen was charging, or didn't want to go through the process of it all. And they started making their own products. And then next you know, YouTube was flooded with nothing but gray screen paint products as far as the eye can see. AVS forums was flooded with nothing but how to do this and how to do your own mixes and how to make your own products. So what they are doing is old. It's nothing new. at all, period. All they're doing is just introducing an old product to newer projectors to give you the illusion that you're seeing something new when you're just seeing nothing at all, period. You're just seeing old product from 9 years ago or 10 years ago react differently on a newer projector. That's all. That's why it all has the same reaction. Our videos that we had 9 years ago do not match our videos now. There is nowhere in the world I could pull up, that much light in the environment on that screen paint and have it work. It couldn't even see contrast. Doesn't have that capability. But in my mind, when I was making this stuff way back then, I believed that I was seeing contrast. I believed that I was seeing color. This is why I know how most of you who make these products think from the door. You actually literally believe this, but it's not true. You're not picking up contrast or color until you put it against a screen that's more superior than yours, and you will see. And that's how I saw it. When I saw Black Diamond, I laid Black Diamond against my screen. I saw color, I saw contrast, I saw things that I never knew exist in a projection screen. There's my Digital One crystal screen paint right there, done. Showing you how fast it can be painted, because that was the main thing back then, how fast you could paint the screen in. But when I go back to you guys to see how far you go back, you're still making the same product we made 9 years ago. Nothing has changed. Your product line has never even changed. It's still the same stuff that we made 9 years ago. The great products you had them for you guys. It's called D5K, D6K. I'll show you those videos. Long before you guys ever made a great screen paint product, we had it first. I'm going to peel it off right there. So when I sit there and tell you, naysayers that come into the room, running your mouths, understand this. You are making my product, not yours. Because again, this stuff is all over YouTube. And if it's not mine, it's probably somebody else's, because there are recipes everywhere on YouTube on how to make great paint. Everywhere. The only difference is with great paint, the performance quality will change depending on the projector that you use. If you're using a 4000 lumen projector and you're using a Chrissy, the image is going to be completely different from a projector that's 720p. That product right here enhances as the more money you spend on a projector. That's why, and sorry I got to bring this guy into this, when he showed off the image on the P2, it didn't look the same way on the projector of the Epson 955WH. It looked like two different images. And the reason why is because this product and gray products and white products improve when you buy a better performance machine. Just like a white screen, same thing, same reaction. So that's all I had to do in the demonstration. There's no testing behind it, just nothing. What can you test it on? At that particular time, people weren't really doing all those tests. It was just basically just paint the screen in, hit it with the projector, and that's it. Nothing different. That's all. And let me see. Here's my timestamp. 9 years ago, that's my timestamp right there. Under digital crystal screen paint, paint a screen in 1 hour or less. Because, like I said, at that particular time, it was rare that you could paint a screen in that fast because everybody was on the GUI screen standards. That's why. That's why I said, when you guys get on camera and you talk about this, it's baloney. It's all baloney. It's been done already. So many people have done this demonstration, it's just not even funny. The great products that you guys are showing have been done already. If I didn't do them already, some other YouTuber did it already. It's been done to death. All you're doing is just introducing old technology with new technology projectors, that's all. That's why if you notice that they can't do anything that the projectors are designed to do. It's 2:1 contrast. Can't even show a demonstration in a fully lit environment with a Starfield demonstration next to a window because the screen is washed out. This stuff will do the same thing. Put it next to a projector, Hit it with 4,000 lumens, whoosh, screen will wash right on out. Doesn't pick up contrast, doesn't see color. That's why. There's no difference in it. So what you are purchasing, you're purchasing an old product. It's been around for many, many years. See right here? This is 10 years ago. That's 10 years. Painted on drywall demonstration. Because back then, if you were doing drywall, you had to go through multi-applications of sanding the wall down, priming and sanding, to get it just right so the wall can be perfectly flat so you can basically apply the application. Keep in mind, everybody was going through by glue screen standards. So you guys went back into my archives because your videos match mine from my old archives, and you copied everything we did. So this is an old beat up piece of drywall. This was unheard of on most form sites because a surface like this, they would sand it, and they would prime it because at that particular time with glue screen, see the color of that paint? Yeah. At that time, glue screen required you to go through this process in order to apply the screen. Interesting how we're supposed to be the scammers, but yet we were making screen paint way before the people who accused us of these actions. We've been around way before you guys ever existed. See that roller and everything? They used to copy the rollers, everything. Yeah, that's our product. And if anyone wants to sit there and say, oh, but look at my timestamp, look at my date on my videos. Yeah, we were making our product. The funny thing about it is, and the laughable part about it is, I guarantee that probably a lot of the stuff we have here back then, if we had to go through a network grade 773 test, it would basically would have matched. That's why I sat there and said when I was popping the top on the network grade, I said, ooh, man, I'm so glad I don't make gray screen paint products because this would have put me out of business. Sat there and made that announcement. Yeah, a little flashback, ain't it? So painting on drywall, that's been done to death. Not only by me, but by other people at that particular time. 10 years back was doing the exact same thing. So our history is we go back so far that we actually can show demonstrations of us doing several different forms of gray screen paint products. I've done gray screen products in dark, I've done them in light, I've done them almost near white, we've done it invisible, we've done clear invisible technology, we've done all of it. Nothing new. If your paints and your products are still looking like this, your products are outdated. The biggest trick I see people do with projection screens is, like I said, they'll introduce it to a high-end projector. Certified screens do it all the time. They take a screen, introduce it to a high-end projector to make you believe that that is the image that you're going to get. No, that's the image you will get if you own the projector. That's the image you will get. You're not going to take I can never understand that why you would use a $50,000 projector in your demonstration and expect that if people use something like a projector of $7,000 or $8,000 or even $1,500 to $1,000, that you really believe that you're going to pick up the same image as a $50,000 projector. It's not going to happen, but people don't even think when they're watching those demonstrations. It doesn't click. Some people see it and it clicks. There's no way in the world. The reason why that screen looks like that, because there's a high performance machine standing in front of it. There is no way in the world you're going to be able to pick it up unless you have that same projector or higher. That's the same trick you're getting on the P2. There's no way in the world you're going to pick that image up. Never going to happen. You have to spend the money for that machine or higher. And for a machine to have that kind of power, the fact that all the demonstrations are in these dark environments, little bits of light splashing behind the back of the screen to try to give off the illusion that the areas were lit. A lot of people do this, not only one person. Clearly shows that the screen can't see color or contrast. You're 3,000 lumens less than a foot away from a screen. That's a lot. Ultra short throw projectors don't need 3,000 lumens. They don't even need 2,000 lumens. They don't even need 1,000. You're sitting on top of a screen. What in the world would you need 3,000 lumens to be sitting a foot away from a screen? That's a lot of light hitting the screen. So it's not a lumen issue. It's a screen issue. That's the reason why. And we could do the search. All the demonstrations are in dark with that kind of power because the screen can't do it. Unless you got the money and you can spend $3,000, $5,000 on one of those gunmetal screens, then you can do it. Other than that, you can't. That's why we can't find anybody to match the promo demonstrations. We go check out the company, we go see if somebody can match the actual promo demonstration. You find very few because they have the money for those screens. This one right here is called what is it called? I forgot the name of it. I think it's White HD Crystal or some crazy thing we made at that particular time. Now, what the problem with this paint is, there's no change. You can only go from A to B with this stuff because when you make great screen paint products, and a basic, simple, great product, it's just a few things. First, you need a base. Most likely it's Behr 1050 because that's what everybody was using before Behr silver screen. As a matter of fact, we were making paint before Behr silver screen ever showed up. That's when everybody thought it was silver, but it was really a really light gray. But Behr 1050 is what you would start off with because that is your base. Now you need something to tone it. You need something to adjust it from light to dark. When you have so many stages, you can go in between. There's nothing more after that. So it doesn't have too much of an ability to do too much. You're better off just keeping it in the light category because if you make it darker, your white levels are going to suffer horribly because there's nothing in it to allow it to receive and understand white light. That's one of the problems you're going to run into. So all the mixes, if you see them, they're very light. That's why. Make them any darker, they have issues pulling up color and contrast. Not contrast, because of a problem putting color and white levels. So a basic, easy mix that everybody usually should know how to make is basically Behr 1050 flat black paint, because that's your toner. People put silver into it, but there's no point putting silver into it. We put silver in ours and really didn't do any good because we really didn't see it. But in your mind, you think you see it, but you don't see it. And then you put some extra fine glitter. Now, that extra fine glitter was put in there to heighten the screen's brightness level when it was being hit with the projector. You put too much of it in, you get a Christmas tree effect where everything comes up with this glittery look to it. You put too less into it, and you don't have enough to trigger the effect. So it has to be a perfect amount in there. But mostly it's 1/4. That's what it is. It's 1/4. That's all it is. You can tell how far this goes back. This goes back to the Xbox 360. You remember Far Cry? Crazy dude with the mohawk? That's how far that video this goes back. That's the demo I'm showing right now. Now, in my mind at that particular time, I think I'm seeing contrast. There is no contrast in there at all. Period. Now that I see now from what we develop and what we make. Ubisoft background is supposed to be jet black. Now you see the reaction that the product's doing here? It's the same reaction we see in screen paints now. The exact same thing. The same discoloration, the contrast levels are not pulling up. This is what we're seeing. Same thing we saw 9 and 10 years ago when we used to make it, which again at that particular time was fantastic. But now your screen should never have the same reactions of a product of 9 years to 10 years back. And if they're claiming the quality, well, the quality is coming from the projector, whatever projector you're using in that demonstration. Now, if they're getting, they're using an old Epson projector, and if that projector is doing the same thing side by side, the same reaction, the same look as the P2 is, at the Ultra 4K, then you got something like this to stand on. Other than that, you don't. This is why in our black technology, we can take a 1,000 lumen projector and stick it next to a 5,000 projector. You couldn't tell one from the other. We did 4K and 1080p, you couldn't tell the other. We did 4K and 720p, you can't tell the other. We did 1080p and 720p, and you still can't tell the difference. You have to be to show results like that. If you take a projector like the Epson, stick it in a fully lit environment, because contrast picks up anywhere, regardless. You can be in a fully lit environment, it's going to pick up. So if you have a screen that you're claiming that pulls a high contrast level, you should be able to do that in a fully lit environment, even with lamps attached to the screen, and pick up a 100% contrast if it has the capability. The flaws of great products now is the fact that they can't see color, and colors come out washed out. That's why you're told to calibrate, because your colors will wash out. You're told to be in ambient light controlled environments, because the screen can't produce in a fully lit environment without going through the washout effect. And you are told you do demonstrations, and where people do demonstrations in the dark when it comes to contrast levels, because any light in the environment will wash the screen out completely. There's a theory and there's a test for a certain person who relies on this one a great deal. Take that P2 projector, shrink the screen, stick it in a fully lit environment, take that Epson projector, put it right next to it, and light that environment up. I mean, I want that area to be super bright, like we have it in our window downstairs, and show 2 star field demonstrations. And I guarantee you both projectors will wash out at the same time. Nothing wrong with the projectors. The screen is old. That's the problem. It's an old screen paint product. And if they feel that, well, the products that we made back then 10 years ago don't match theirs, well, I got a website still running right now to this day under Digital One Crystal Screen free mixes. Right now it's still running. I paid for it out of my account. Still running, showing you how to make several different versions of the Digital One Crystal Screen Paint, our old school mixes from back in the day. Feel free to go to the website and make them. Have you seen any of them do the demonstration? Digital One old mixes versus theirs? You didn't. That's why. The reason why you haven't, because they're not going to do it. Because it will match. It's old. Their products are old. I think we may be able to find my Digital One website. I haven't updated it in a while, but we don't need to anyway. It's designed to give out free paint. That's all it's designed to do. Here it is. This is my site right here. Okay, upgrade the domain name. Well, we'll get in there and upgrade the domain name. Let's see. I got to upgrade my domain name. I haven't been on the site for a while. It's just set up to just float. That's it. All right, I'll call and get it connected today. That's all. But it's a site for free screen paint. We just have to go in there and connect the domain name. That's basically about it. Oh, yeah, I know what happened. I changed my credit card over to another card. That's why it's not linked to my original credit card. All right, no problem. I just got to repay for my domain name. That's all I got to do. Okay, but anyway, it's a basic product. Well, basic, I can just put the ingredients down here. I made it so I can just post the ingredients here. So I'll post about 4 of the ingredients under Digital Crystal Screen Paint, which is really easy to make. And like I said, if they feel that their product can basically, it's not the same, they can just make the ingredients. I mean, I can tell you right here on camera, very simple to do. Reversals, well, not so much reversals, but I'll tell you how to make the basics. Well, actually, I'll show you how to make a super version of a gray screen paint product. They call them half and halves. Really easy to make. Okay. Usually, like I said, when they make gray screen paint products, it's going to be black and white paint. It's always going to be black and white paint. And the thing about it is, people take the black and white paint, they put a little silver and glitter into it. For some reason, this is how we thought we were using Martha Stewart's collection line of paints at that particular time. But there was no PPG or PPG, and it didn't even exist at all, period, at Home Depot. It was Martha Stewart's Metallica mixes. That's what was at the time, before she lost her license with them. But anyway, basic gray screen paint, you don't put gold in it. Gold's the last thing you want to do into it, because gold is definitely going to reflect every freaking thing in the room, and it's not going to look well. Oh wow, this is one of my old demonstrations. I painted up. No, I didn't have a motorized screen then. I'm gonna go find one of my old demonstrations right here. Here we go. This is window glass technology that we had. mind you, when you come on camera, Crow, sorry I put your name in this video, but when you come on camera and you say, hey, he's faking this and faking that, do you know I had this technology before I even knew who you were? I didn't even know who you were when I made that video. Didn't even know you even existed. So how could I be faking it when I was making it 8 years ago? We didn't even know who you were. And then when we popped up and you realized who we were and we started showing off this technology, all of a sudden we're scamming and fakes. Yeah. Like I said, I've been around longer than you have. See right there, crystal clear 2.0 transparent screen paint. The timestamp on that is 8 years ago. This is in the little rented room. All right, so let's get back to telling you the different paints. I'm going to show you how to make, I'm going to put it down, it's called Advanced Gray Screen Paint Mix. Usually people put silver into it. They put a couple of teaspoons of silver into it to get it to jump. You're never going to see that. You will never see this. You have to do something called the half and half. So you're going to put half bare 1050, and you don't need anything special. Just half bare 1050, and the other half is going to be PPG or PPJ. It says silver paint, you know what I'm talking about. Half of that. It's in half and half. This way you will see the silver because it's in half and half. Instead of putting in 2 tablespoons, which you will never see, you do a half and half, which you will see. So bare 1050 and PPJ or PPG, whatever they call it, silver Metallica paint. Then you put the toner in. Toner can be between 2 scoops and 1 scoop. Don't bother with tablespoons and teaspoons because that you'll be off. The same scoop, when you have Kool-Aid that you use, that's what you use to measure black paint with. The teaspoons and tablespoons don't work correctly. It's not accurate enough. So you put in 2 tablespoons, 2 scoops or 1 scoop. I would either keep it between, if you want to go out that area, you want it a little bit more contrast, I would keep it in the area from 1 to 3. That's it. That's as far as I would go. Anything past that, it's gonna come up too dark. So 1 to 3. That'll give you your scale on where you need to be at when you're making it. Now, you're going to be making this by the quart. If you're going to make it by the gallon, all you do is multiply everything by 4. That's it. Very easy to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to do half and half. You're going to get bare 1050. You're going to get PPJ. You're going to do a half and half of a quart. Half of a quart, half of a quart. That's what you're going to do. And then you're going to put in your measurements of black paint is from 1 to 3 on how many scoops you put in. Then you put a little glitter. You go over to Lowe's. They got this stuff called extra fine glitter. It's used for basically for coloring ceilings. You're going to take 1/4 of a teaspoon, or what do you call it, measuring spoon, and you're going to drop that in there. You mix it well, you're done. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. Everybody was making the same thing, the exact same thing, except for they weren't using the silver. With how they were making it was they were just taking black paint, they were taking white paint, they were taking a couple of teaspoons of silver and some of that glitter into it, and then boom, that's what they were making. But you would never see the silver. The silver was just completely pointless. It'd be basically diluted with the black and the house paint. You won't see it. That's why you do a half and half. A half and half will make sure you will see it. And then when you drop that glitter into it, that glitter is going to react to that silver. It's going to cause it to jump, and that's going to allow you to pick up. So let me put the disclaimer in really quick. So I don't want anybody coming back saying, I painted my screen with this and I don't have to. You're not going to get the same reaction. You're not going to pick up contrast. You're not going to pick up color. You're going to pick up color and contrast to that certain degree of what that's designed to do. If you think you're going to pick up next to a gunmetal technology, not going to happen. You're not going to match any of the diamonds or the DMP, so you're not even matching our stuff at the day. It's not going to happen. It doesn't have that capability to do this. All it is just showing you that you don't have to spend 90 or 80 bucks for a product that you literally could physically just make yourself. Or for some of you, if you don't even want to go down that road, you just, and got to say it because it is what it is. He matched it in the demonstration. It is what it is. Just go to Sherwin and take it off the shelf. Now, if you want to do the easy way of doing it, because you've already seen in the demonstrations, he matched the product, then all you have to do is basically, because the network grade 773 is slightly higher white levels because it's a little lighter, so it produces a higher white level. But if you wanted to tone that, then again, same measurements between 1 and 3. That's all you have to use, between 1 and 3. When he was making his product, he put 2 in. It's always between 1 and 3. Any person who's been making gray screen paint for years knows it's between 1 and 3. Now, if you want to do something where you want to make a darker gray mix, then you do a reversal. If you do it where you have to go in and you have to put in white paint, you'll be scooping black paint in there forever to get the tone to kick in right. That's going to take too much time, too much paint, too much resources, and you're going to lose count on how much scoops you put in there just to get that tone. What you have to do is you start off with the base being black paint. Doesn't make a difference to be black paint, and now your toner is going to be white paint. So in that one, you start off with anywhere in the range of 1 to 5 to get your tone. That's how we were able to make the UV mix. We just used the same thing, the same demonstration. It was showing you how to make the paint. Everybody was making that way. Everybody was making it that way. That's how you put your paint, that's how you tone it. Depending on how many scoops of black is where your tone came in. How much white you put in, that's where your tone came in. So we landed the UV mix at 6. That's where we hit it, at 6. That's all. Just keep putting the scoops until you figure out where you want to land at. It's always just an adjuster. This is on plywood right here. Digital and crystal screen paint on plywood. Because at that particular time, like I said, blue screen was all the rage. And to paint it on plywood was not going to happen. Oh, that's my BenQ MS500. Ooh, I forgot about my projector, my old projector from back in the day. That's on plywood. Because it was unheard of that you could paint it on plywood. At this particular time, like I said, now today, if someone says I'm painting it on plywood, I'm like, we have to show you can paint it on plywood because people request it. But you can paint it on plywood. Look at, see right there? That is a jacket that I coated in the product. Oh yeah, that was pretty cool, the jacket demonstration. Oh, that's my BenQ MS500 right there. That's way back. You can tell how old the movies are, how far back it is. Now see all the black we have in here? That ain't black, that's gray. I see it differently now, but that particular time, literally thought I was seeing black levels. Yeah. That's on a BenQ MS500. That projector is 600 by 800, 720p SVGA. This is why they get threatened when they said, oh, the screens come out too dark. So our screens come out too dark. What about 9 years ago when we were making your products? Well, you couldn't say anything because you didn't even know I was even existing, but I was existing. I was existing way before you guys were. So yeah, all that stuff that, you guys talk about, oh, no. We were making it already. You guys are late to the party. Ben had it already. You know what video that is, right, with John Travolta? That's, can't forget the name of that video. From Paris with Love, that's what it is. You know what that movie is? That's how old your products are. Did the cookie cutter screens? Yeah, that's what everybody was doing, cookie cutter screens back then. Let's show you something real quick here. Let's go back, and this is where I first started. There's my BenQ MS500 projector, VGA, right there. I was running it off through, you know that cord is, right? That's an Xbox 360 cord. Look at the color of the paint. Look at the tone of it. Looks familiar, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It looks like a Cinemax, doesn't it? Because it's the same tone as a Cinemax. Exactly. and we can make it. That's why we know how to make all your products, because again, they're trying to make our stuff. They're trying to match the tone of our products. That's 10 years ago. Here's the old company under digital and crystal screen paint. That was 8 years ago. This is another one on the digitalcrystalscreenpaint.com. That is 10 years ago. There's another one there 9 years ago. Oh, here's another one. Cardboard. Painted on a cardboard box. That was 10 years ago. All those demonstrations you see them doing now by saying, oh, we painted on cardboard, we painted this, it's been done. It's been done already. We did it already. Cardboard shipping box. Look at the color of the paint. What color does that look like to you? So all we did was go back to our old archives, find our paints, duplicate the tone as close as they possibly could, hit it with a projector up to date, stick it in a dark environment in a calibrated machine, and say, look how amazing our products are. No. If I were to take it to court for basically, and it's not worth my time anyway, if I were to take it to court saying that we own the rights to all of it, I could easily do that because I have timestamp videos that go back that far. I could literally make your product in a courtroom and show it matches the product we have now, easily. I know how your product is made. I know how much paint it takes to get your product to generate the exact same color because we made it first. And those of you who thought for the longest time that all he made was black paints, I told you I have a history. I go back that far. We were making great products before these two ever existed. They had been copying our work from day one. Anybody can. You go back from this era, and all you got to do is just go in and just copy the tone. It all does the same thing. There is no testing. Now, I can say if I had all these in the same test under the product, and I would say you would have to pass all these tests to show that it's the same thing, but there are no tests. You just basically took the screen, stuck it in the dark, hit it with a projector, but that's what the requirements were back then. Now today, you have to show your product is tested. This is why the technology we have here has a ton of testing behind it, because again, the more advanced, especially these darker screens, they have to show these things actually work at the end of the day. It's a little bit more different than a gray screen. That's why you will see tons of testing under this technology, but under this, you won't see any at all. It wasn't a requirement then. Besides, any of the testing we have now, this stuff couldn't even pass it. And this is why we get the canceled orders, because they know what will happen if that product comes over here. We can make that product from here. I can make it, I don't even have to have the product. I can make it by looking on camera. I can make the exact same thing. We've done it already, too many times to count. Now in here, this one think I'm seeing a black level. No black levels at all, period, same reaction. Here's another demonstration. This is the Digital and Crystal Screen Paint 2.0. Right there. There's the timestamp right there. 10 years ago. There's me, Mr. Bird. 2.0. Heard that one before, haven't you? Look at the color of the paint. Now in this demonstration, simple and plain, like I said, at that particular time, you had to sand the wall down. If your wall was marked up like this, you had to go and you had to sand the wall down, prime it, and sand it and prime it. People, there were tons of demonstrations all over ABS forums of people just going through all these massive preparations to get the surface ready. There's my little digital crystal screen paint. Those are old containers. And I went on ABS forums to show them that, no, you don't have to. This is the time I think I was going back and forth with Mississippi Man. So showing them that you don't have to go through all these preparations. With our product, all you have to do is just zip, zip, zip across the screen and you're done. But that was considered to be unheard of because everybody was following Goose Screen standards. Everybody wanted to be Goose Screen. We didn't want to be Goose Screen. We wanted to do the opposite of Goose Screen. And this is what put us on the map in that particular time when we were making those products, because everybody was doing one thing, we did the opposite. Just like now. We're in a different direction than everybody else because we're making black technology and these people are still sticking with gray. It's over, it's outdated, it's been done. That's why when I hear stuff about stacking systems, that's a bunch of lies. Unless you can show me that's true, it's a lie. There's no system, no stacking system. So anyway, you would have a screen react to stacking, it would have to be sprayed on because again, you couldn't roll it on because you would basically cause cross-contamination between the two different products. It would be called a smear effect across the screen. That wouldn't even work. It would have to be a spray-on application. It would have to slightly dry, still be wet, to apply the second application, and that would allow both surfaces to fuse together. But you still would have to show a reaction on how it's going to react if you miss an application. What is the outcome if I miss an application? That's something you should have automatically. Because what if the customer misses an application by accident? What is the outcome? And that's going to play on their mind. If this is a stacking system, and say you're painting the screen and something comes up, people got kids, somebody comes to the door, you get into a long conversation, whatever happens, and you forget. People do it all the time. And you go, shoot, I don't remember if I did one or two applications. I really don't remember which one I put in. What if they just put it in, but in the back of their mind, they're always thinking, I'm pretty sure I did 3. But I don't know if I did 4, but I'm pretty sure I did 3. Then what's going to be the reaction to that? And that's what you have to be to do, because they're going to contact you and say, hey, look, I missed an application. What's going to happen now? My colors are going to come out bad and my contrasts are going to come up bad. And if the screen doesn't react right like it should, they're going to think they messed it up themselves because they missed one of the steps. And that's why you have to do a demonstration showing the step process, and you have to miss one from each one, but keep the original first screen to show if there's going to be a reaction if you miss one of these. So that way, it's called a troubleshooting sheet. If the customer happens to miss one, you can say, okay, are you getting this from the screen? Are you getting that from the screen? Is this the reaction that you're receiving from the screen? He would know this because he did that test. So how are you going to react to a customer on what they should be looking for when you don't even know what you're going to be looking for because you never did the test? There you go. See? At the end of the day, I'm not coming at you guys in a way where I'm trying to basically put you down on a certain level. Is that this is stuff you have to be able to do in this business. You can't just come on camera and just spout a whole lot of stuff out of your mouth on camera without backing it up. Because that kind of stuff, what I just mentioned, will happen. The very little thing that you think won't happen will actually happen. So people do that all the time. People forget. I've seen people go to a door, have a long conversation, literally forget they put something in an oven. And the house is filled with smoke. Completely forgot. People do it all the time. So if you're painting a screen in and you miss one of the processes, because people have kids, they have dogs and things that go on in their everyday life, and they miss a step, they're going to think that if the screen comes out where it's not producing this or it's not doing that, they're going to think they messed it up. And if they need to troubleshoot this with you and go, okay, look, I might have missed one of the applications. I'm not really sure which one it was, but I think it might have been a 4th application. What is the reaction if I miss a 4th application? Like, what kind of reaction am I going to get from that? You can't give them that information because you never did the test. That's why. And the reason why you can't do the test, because it's phony baloney. Because it doesn't make a difference what you missed. It's still all going to do the same thing. Now, for those who are sitting there saying, well, that's not true, then show me a demonstration. Show me one demonstration. I've been asking for that demonstration for 2 years. I think about 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years I've been asking. No. A year or 2 years. I'm going to check. No, it has been 2 years. It has been 2 years, yeah, because I got receipts downstairs for 21 and 22. Got to be to back it up. So you see the color of that paint right there? See the environment? See that it doesn't have the full environments we're using here? Because again, as I said before, that paint can pull a white level, a high white level, but it can't see color or contrast. At this particular time, this was considered to be an impressive demonstration because again, it's 10 years ago and to have one light in the room is considered to be impressive back then. And the projector I was using in this demonstration was an NEC 2000 lumen projector. That's what I was using. But no, that was about 10 years ago. Right there. Let me see. Oh, digital crystal screen paint. This was 10 years ago. Oh, glass technology. Another one. 9 years ago. Crystal clear. Had it before you guys ever even knew it ever existed. We had it. All we did now is just advance it. Comes from a lot of practice. Advance it, make it better. Nothing new. Been had that stuff a long time ago. That's why I found it that we had the videos back then when I was doing, not then at the time because it didn't exist, but around the earlier years when I was at this house, when your Crow Boys were coming in and carrying on about how the product was the best of the best. Yeah, we kept all those. They're posted in different forum sites for people to go through. And they're actually matched up with these demonstrations here, which they find it laughable that you guys were sitting in there bragging about a product that we had already. That's really good. It reminds me of, you remember on Seinfeld where Elaine was upset with the store because they didn't give her good service or whatever happened and she refused to buy from them at all, period. She went to another store, or Cinco de Mayo, I think that's what it was. Went to another store and she bought merchandise from that store, not realizing that they were both the same store. It's just a different chain with a different name. It's they were both the same thing. So she went to another store and she bought all these expensive clothes at a store that already belonged to the store that she was upset with. That's what you guys just did. You paid for a product. You know how much we charged for that product back then? Not no $90. You paid for an overpriced product from something that we were making years ago. Pretty much not only me, but other YouTubers in that particular era were also making. That's what you bought. This is why the demonstrations I'm showing you, oh, that was the ViewSonic 3000 lumen projector. That was a 1080p projector too. That's my first 1080p 3000 lumen projector. Saturday Night Live. Yep. That's what I said. All that stuff, y'all late to the party. Been late to the party. Oh, here's another one. This is showing not ambient light projection. It's showing true gain. That's what they said it. They didn't talk about ambient light projection because it didn't exist. They talked about gain. This is a demonstration. This is what put us on the map. Crazy demonstrations. The same weird and crazy demonstrations I do now. These are the demonstrations that we did then. Painted a lamp with the formula. The entire lamp, painted the screen, all that's coated with Crystal Edge technology screen paint. Look at the symbol on it. That's gears. That's an Xbox 360 menu. That tells you how far back it is. In this demonstration, we show you how our screens can take on ambient light by basically painting a light, having lights on, daytime hours, and producing an image. Even my demonstrations, sorry, Jamie, I gotta add these in this, Jamie, were more advanced in gray screen paint to what you're doing now. You're in these dark environments and hardly any lights coming in. You're using a high-end projector. I'm using a 3000 lumen short throw projector. At that particular time, you can probably get now for like 50 bucks. And I have a lamp right in the center of my screen. Screen's painted, lamps painted, all blends in together. Putting lamps in front of the screen, we started that. That's what, 10 years ago? Yeah, 10 years ago, so nothing new. And everything they did then, we're doing now, we already did it already. Yep, been there, done that already. That video is from, let me see, check our timestamp on that again. That is 10 years ago. 10 years. Nothing new. Painted on vinyl. We did that one too. There you go. Digital crystal screen paint. That is 10 years ago. Painting a vinyl surface. Something that you do now. We've done it already. Video is so old, only just 4.3. All right, no. Same. All I do when I watch the videos, I'm just watching a repeat of something we already did already. There's a vinyl surface right there. That's a vinyl window shade. Did that one already. So what they've been doing is going back, copying our work, and then trying to act like, hey, this is something new, and it's nothing new, except it's old. Let me see. We got 3D, let me see, this is lights on demonstration. That's 10 years ago. This right here is a kind of a gamer paint we're working on, some kind of crystal 3D application paint. That's 10 years ago. There's another demonstration right here on using a form of like kind of 3D crystal effect. That's 10 years ago. Yeah, like I said, you guys, your stuff is old. Let me see, let's go to this 3D crystal effects product here. Literally, if I want to, and the ingredients I gave y'all, well, I don't remember the ingredients for this stuff. It was actually designed for 3D glasses applications. Really don't remember how he even made it, to tell you the truth. It was already that far back. But the basics, yeah, that's the basic of a half and half. Look at that. Now, notice how the demonstrations all look the same. Dark areas, we got one little window in the back opened up. Yeah, same thing. You're doing the same demonstrations that we're doing. Well, a lot of them are doing, not just him, a lot of them are doing the same demonstrations that we're doing way back then. That's why I keep telling y'all gotta catch up, because y'all are so far behind. It's not even funny. Y'all still in great products at the end of the day. That's old. Now, these are our demonstrations now. Where I can stick a screen right in the middle center of a bunch of windows, stick lights on the side of it, pull an image off. And we get people in and say, well, you're using 5,000. It doesn't make a difference using 5,000, 6,000, 1,000 lumens, and ultra short throw. They don't pick up on the screens. We've been through that already on the motorized already. They will not pick up. I don't care what projector you use. They react the same way as they did back then. They're doing the same thing. Look at this, 10 years ago. 10 years ago. This was, lights on. Oh, look at this. Look at the menu. Xbox 360 menu. Movie trailers. Now, When y'all do movie demonstrations, that discoloration that we see in the screen, this is what we see. This is supposed to have black bars. This is a cinema setting. There's supposed to be black bars here. Well, actually, no. If this is doing back then, it's probably doing 4.3. So it should still have black bars. But you can't see the black bars because the screen is gray. This is the same reaction. Your screens come up in your videos exactly the same way. That discoloration tan to it, that's how we know it's black and white paint. That's how we can tell. And this is why they spend the money for these expensive projectors to try to fix the contrast that the screen can't give out. But even in a fully lit environment, the P2 doesn't work on a gray screen because, again, 2,000,000:1 is not going to help you. If that was the case, like I said, I would see demonstrations in fully lit environments showing heavy contrast levels, but you don't see this. You see all these demonstrations in the dark because the gray and white screen can't help the P2. Now, you take a gray screen paint like this, you introduce it to a high-end projector, it's going to have a different reaction to it. This is why none of the customers are actually matching the screen, why a lot of the customers are sitting in the dark. Well, that's with Jet Li. That's from back in the day. Oh, let me see. Digital crystal screen paint, upcoming line of paints. That was another 10 years ago. Where am I on my chargers here, but I haven't plugged in anything. Wow. Let me see. There we go. Now see how much better the picture got? I bought a new projector. I bought a Vividtech projector. Actually, we support Vividtechs too. But I bought a Vividtech projector. I got it from a buddy TK for around 60 bucks. Demonstration date. That was around 10 years ago. All these videos we have in here are 10 years old. Oh, that's me back in the day with my local family. Yeah, the problem is you guys are late to the party. You're really, really late to the party. Demonstration, paint anything you want. I literally painted a t-shirt in one of the demonstrations. Right there. That's a t-shirt, turned it into a projection screen. That was 10 years ago. Nothing new. We've been there and done it already. Because remember, at that particular time, it was unheard of to be painting on t-shirts and styrofoam and to be painting on cardboard boxes and all that stuff. Because the forum site that I was at, like I said, unheard of. Everybody was painting to a drywall. You were restricted to a wall and wall under. Only under Goose Green's policy. But we decided to do things a little differently. There's the product right there. Rise of the Guardians, Xbox 360 dashboard. I'll put the ingredients for, we're gonna call it the master gray mix, because it's a pretty good one. And it'll do the, and it should be over the power. We'll go over the power of the product, because after I seen from the network gray, I mean, literally, if I was gonna do it from network gray, I would just keep it in between the 2 and 3. You don't even have to put any silver glitter into that. This is if you want to add more of a bump to it, that's all. But you don't really need to put all that in there. I mean, what you just saw in the demonstration already with the product already matching network grade 773, you really don't have to do much to it to get the trigger. You keep it within the stages of 1 to 3 in the black scoops, that's it, you're good. So I'll put 2 of them down there, 2 basic simple ones. Bare silver, not bare silver screen, network grade 773. The same scoops that you get from your Kool-Aid scoopers and one of them scoopers, that's what you need. Keep it in the range of 1 to 3. That's it. If you want to make it easy, we're going to call it the easy mix. Simple and plain. If you want to do an advanced mix, well, like I said, it's still easy. It's a half and half. You want a lot of silver in it. You want brighter images. You want the screen to pop a little higher. Then all you got to do is you put in half silver. You put in half, we use a PPG or PPJ, half silver, half bare 1050. You don't need this silver screen. I don't need buying that. Half 1050. You put in your black scoops in from 1 to 3. That's it. And you put a little 1/4 of a measuring spoon of silver. That's it. You're done. Make it yourself. It's the same way. And it's the combination I gave you. It's the same thing we're making it here. In all these demonstrations, the same thing. So, you know, many of you neighbors, when I go out there and say, oh, well, you don't know what he's talking about when it comes to gray screen paints, I can pull out an archives of products, not only that, beta testers, companies that are attached to that product back then, far surpass of what you have ever shown in any demonstrations. No one signed you guys to jack for that great product at all, period. I got more beta testers on that product than you got customers. So yeah, I can show you on every level and every form of great product that we've ever made that was before your product, doing demonstrations that you're doing now. The only thing you're doing differently is you're just introduced into a newer projector. That's all you're doing. That's all. Nothing new. Nothing new. See right here? This is a demonstration you have never seen him do. We took an entire, my buddy was actually wearing a jacket. So I thought, because people were talking about flexibility of the paint, it's flexible, you know, because they don't want the screen to crack or peel. So to prove that, we painted closed. This is my buddy with a jacket coated in digital and crystal screen paint sitting in front of the screen. And the screen is also coated too, so he's going to blend into the screen. It was about, not only about not cracking and peeling, but basically getting it to blend in. Like, okay, if I get this, is it going to blend in? Can I paint it on this? Can I paint it on that? We had to show them that we can paint this on fabric and it'll match the screen with no problem. And this is the kind of stuff we had to prove back then when we were making those products. Because we were going against blue screen standard, where you had to paint it to a wall and wall only. And we're like, no, we can paint this to fabric and we can paint this to a wall and they'll both match. And that's what he's displaying in the demonstration. Never seen him do demonstrations like that. No, of course not. They don't know how to think outside the box. Me and my friend Howie testing out the Digital One Crystal Blue paint. And right now he is wearing a jacket that's covered completely in the paint, and we're going to show a demo of Xbox Live. Yeah, come on now, we done all that stuff already. That's why when I watch the demonstration, nothing new. It's a yawn fest because we did it already. Look at this. See the lights up against the screen? What's this right here say? Silver. This is a Digital One Silver Screen Paint 2.4 game. We got so many versions of this product. It's not even funny. Hello, my name is Kenneth, and I'm designer of Digital One Crystal Screen Paint. Now, what you're seeing here, this is the new Digital One Crystal Silver 2.4. This paint is so bright, the colors on it are absolutely magnificent. All right, the gain is very high. Now, the reason why gain, you ever heard me say anything about ambient light projection? It didn't exist back then. Putting lamps in front of the screens, nothing new. You're just copying us. So this is show that you can stick a lamp directly in front of a screen and have it absorb the light. What are we doing here on this one? Now, me today, if I saw me back then, I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna pass, man. Not in this decade. Your screen's too small. Number one, the light's nice. We're sitting next to the screen, but your screen's too small. You gotta back that thing up, back it up, and put on a bigger screen. That would be me now. But then, like I said, this is how it was back then. This is why you shouldn't be seeing demonstrations on cookie cutter screens, because again, this was old. This is how people did demonstrations back then on little tiny screens, but it was acceptable back then. Today, no, not acceptable. You should have it on 100-inch. We have this in small screen. We have is 88. We used to have an 88, but 88. That's why you sit there and hear me saying on camera that the cookie cutter screens. Yeah, because they did the cookie cutter screens 10 years ago. You guys are still doing cookie cutters? Are you kidding me? Let me see. 100-inch screen, man cave, right here for the environment. That's 10 years ago. 100 digital crystal screen paint. On how you can watch a baseball game in a fully lit environment. Oh yeah, that's what we consider to be fully lit. We didn't even calibrate projectors at the time either. Nope. Unless you had a professional dedicated setup, then you were calibrating projectors. But not for everyday use, you weren't calibrating, people weren't calibrating. Nothing new. Eight years back, 10 years back, what was this one right here? This is using a screen next to light in the environment right there. Oh, beta testers. Here's the beta testers right there. Digital Crystal Screen Paint 3.6 high def. Yeah, that was also a screen paint right there. Told you we made so many versions of that paint. It is not even funny. This is a beta tester, zone 708. Now, you see how impressed up and how beautiful that looks on his screen right there? That is a, I think, 10-year-old screen paint. You know why it looks better on his and looks on mine? Because he had a better projector than mine. He had a much better projector. That screen paint gets better as you basically hit it with more advanced projectors. Where on our technology, we can use these rollers behind us and we can pick up amazing images. That's not 4K. That's a 1080p projector. Now, the products I have told you how to make, I'll post them below. But just so you know, I'm not taking any, I don't want anybody coming back and saying, it doesn't pull the same, it's not going to pull the same contrast. You're not getting that. You will spend more money for a projector to fix that contrast. You will be stuck in a dark environment. Do you see the LED lights pushing up from the side of the screen? Do you see that? That environment is not well lit in there. It's kind of like have lights in the back, because again, at that particular time, having one light in the background was considered to be an advancement. Now today, no, that's not. You can't have that. Area has to be well lit. Yeah, look at this. Sitting in the dark. There's no way in the world you should be sitting in the dark with the equipment we have now. $3,300 projector, and all those demonstrations are sitting in dark environments. Even the demonstrations that are being displayed on the website are all dark environments. Customers are all sitting in dark environments. You know why? Because that product right there that we had, that we made 10 years ago, that's how it reacts. You can't have it in a fluid environment because the color and contrast are going to wash out because the screen doesn't have the ability to pick it up. This is why all the demonstrations you're seeing when these people do demonstrations are all in the dark. This is why I'm trying to show contrast so they get that tannish, washed out gray look to it. That's why. This would have reacted the exact same way. And here you are, guys, today with all these expensive projectors, and you're still sitting in these dark environments. When this was done 10 years ago, that's why I told you your stuff is old. It reacts the same way. Same environments react the same way. Nothing new. Man, let me see. That's from 10 years ago. That's another video from 10 years ago. That's one from 9 years ago. Oh, this is the 3D gaming paint we're making 10 years ago. This is our technology now. Much better. This is from 9 years ago. This is a Digital One Crystal Clear 2.6. Another one for gaming application 10 years ago. Guys are late. When I mean you're late to the party, you're late. The bar lights, we did it first. I mean, I'm honored that you copy our stuff. I really am. But mind you, we did all that stuff first. The bar lights in front of the screens, yeah, we did those first. We're the ones who started it. You see how great that product is? That's right around the time when we started developing the D5K and D6K technology. When I realized that when I got a chance to, when I bumped into Black Diamond. That was a 3.0 HD. Yeah, the lights in front of the screen, yeah, we started all that. You're just watching people copy our work, that's all. Here we go. Here's a demonstration done on the new Digital One silver screen on a 300 lumen in 720p. This is 300 lumens, 720p. Now, I bet most of y'all staring at this, if you've never seen a black screen before and you've never seen the reaction of a black screen, you probably think you're seeing black right now. That's not black, that's actually all gray. That's what you're seeing. We got to do one of those tests. We got to do a freaking color test so can you really recognize contrast when you see it? Because some people really can't see contrast at all. They can't see it. They don't even know what contrast was. If contrast would hit them in the face, they really can't see it. And do you know what a real black level actually looks like? Oh my goodness, this was freaking 3.0. Yeah, black. Yeah, this is right around the time we're developing black technology. This is right around the time. Well, no. Actually, that's 8 years ago. I got to calculate that. We bumped into Black Diamond in 2016. I think it was 2016. That would have been the D5K and D6K. So it wouldn't have been here yet. We haven't hit the D5K and D6K. This is actually when we first started pushing into those lines. So wait a minute, I'm gonna think back for a minute. I forgot about the 3.0. So were we developing black technology, or we actually darker technology before we ran into Diamond? Because I didn't think Diamond even knew we existed until we got a hold of their sample sheet. What color does that screen look like? Looks like the UV and the Frankenstein, doesn't it? Interesting. That's why when I saw the demonstration of the Frankenstein being stuck in that little tiny screen and with that projector sitting right up on top of it, those people did those demonstrations back then. That's the same demonstration I'm doing now, where my projector is sitting right up on top of the screen, and we got this little, except for my screen size is bigger than yours, and this is what people were into then. That whole crystallization look to it, that's what they wanted back then. Today, no, nobody wants that crap. This is what it was back then. Boy, some of you know what that Ghost Recon Future Soldier, that's way back. Look at the color of the screen. What color does that screen look like to you? It's like a Frankenstein to you. Hey, you guys have been copying our work. My goodness, that's sad. That shows you how far we go back. This is a good game, too. I like this game. That was a good game. What else we got? Oh, Halo. Ooh, this is way back. This is way, way back. This is freaking Halo. Yeah, tells you how far we go back. Videos are even telling you how far we go back. That's freaking Halo. I forgot about that right there. Yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, I got about 8,000 demonstrations. Going back from the first beginning, canvas demonstration, painted on canvas. Going back to the first beginning to now. So, as I said before, we got far more experience. You guys don't know what they're talking about on camera, and products are matching house paint today. They got to match you don't want to match house paint. Back then, if I had to go through a house paint process like now today, yeah, I wouldn't have made it, because a lot of my stuff would have came up matching in that were grade 773. Digital. Digital one. Crystal screen paint. D5. What's the D5K? No. These are D5K. D5K. That's how I know how to make all your stuff already, because I made it already. That's a D5K right there. We made a D5K and a D6K. Look at the color of the D5K 7 years ago. That's how we know how the Frankenstein is made. This is how we know how the UV mix is made. So now we're able to make both of the products because, again, we had that product before they did. Do I have my wall display? Oh, and now our demonstrations look like this. I love it. I freaking love it. Let me see. Oh, this is the high def right there. That's another beta tester. That is a digital on-screen paint 3.6 high def. So, what do we take back from all of this? Well, I've been here longer. I have far more experience. I can make all your products at the end of the day because I know what your products are made of. You've mimicked a ton of my video demonstrations. You've done the same thing that we did. Well, actually, in the video demonstrations you're doing now are the exact same demonstrations we did back then. You know, dark environments, light behind the back of the screens that you're seeing right here in demonstration. We had our beta testers who are doing demonstrations like this because that's how we displayed our products. Nothing new. Your demonstrations and products are old, outdated relics, dinosaurs. That's what they are. And this is the reason why we know at the end of the day that you cannot mimic any of our demonstrations or make any of our products. If you're making this stuff, there's no way in the world you can ever make our products. That's not going to happen, not ever. So, and then on top of that, our stuff has proper testing. You guys don't test your stuff because you can't test it. There's virtually no way you can test this stuff. I couldn't even test myself the way I test myself now. Couldn't do it. Wouldn't even work. It would fail in every single attempt because it's old. So, that's what you guys have on your walls. If you purchase these products, this is what you have on your wall. You have a 9-year-old, 8-year-old to 9-year-old screen paint product on your wall. That's what you have. That's what you purchased. Something that people were making many years back. And the only reason why it looks different, because you're being introduced to a new projector. That's all. But if you were to take that same projector, stick it in a well-lit environment that's required in today's demonstrations, it wouldn't pick up on the gray screen. It would wash completely out. If that was the case, all the demonstrations I've seen under the P2 looking for contrast demonstrations, every single one of them would have been able to produce in a fully lit environment and produce a contrast level with no problem, but they can't because it's old products, that's all. Probably using a white, majority of most people are probably using white screens anyway. With the gray products, nothing new. And then right, Taco? Nothing new. So when I tell you that we go back, we have more experience and more knowledge than you so-called people out here making screen paints today, I can actually back it up 100%. When I tell you that I've been making your products before you ever existed, I can back that up 100%. And if I tell you you've been copying all my demonstrations and doing the same thing we were doing then, trying to make them look like something new now, yeah, we can back that up too also. As you're watching in the demonstration, it's a bird painting in a gray screen that looks a lot like a lot of the screen paints that were made today. Isn't that interesting? All right, well, with that being said, there ain't no demonstrations to do. We're pretty much done. We ain't got no other demonstrations to do. We finished. I just have to get ready for my next stage, which is actually showcasing my technology on displays, and that's pretty much it. But other than that, we're done with the whole video process for a while. Like I said, we're still gonna be processing, taking orders as always, as we always do. And I'll be taking a lot of orders offline also. But just showing you our history, how far we go back, that we've been making great products way before most of these people ever existed on YouTube to begin with. We were here already. They didn't even exist when we were around. So I don't know how in the world at the end of the day they're trying to tell you that they're saving you hundreds, they're saving you money when you can literally make this stuff yourself. I'll put the ingredients below how to make your own cheap gray screen paint. All right, with that being said, gotta go and God bless.